Well, I'm in a sunbeam, everybody. And the Roomba is hollering that it's not being charged. And Robert says it's charging, so he's not happy. I have iced tea, my first time to have iced tea. I pulled out one of my beach glasses. I've got lemon and vitamin C in it. Yeah, I've been working today. Not only just working in the doing fly lady stuff, but I've been setting my timer for 10 minutes and working there, and then getting up after that 10 minutes and doing something else. And I got our rechargeable Black & Decker tools out, and I have blown leaves and used the weed eater to cut down black-eyed Susans that were going nuts. Yep, I have an infestation of black-eyed Susans. And then I ran out of juice. Totally ran out of juice. And we only had one battery because Robert let Justin borrow one of our 20-volt batteries. And he hadn't brought it back, so I ordered another battery so the kid could keep it. Anyway, we've got sunbeams, and it's starting to get it's partly cloudy, so the sun will go behind. There, I'm not blown out now with having too much sun on my face. But I have cleaned up my flower bed. Robert cut back some bushes we had there. It's a good day for cutting back bushes. Really is. And I've just been reading a book, The Plague book by Judy Mitzkowitz, Dr. Judy, and loving it, absolutely loving it, because the science behind it, the science is what gets me. She is such a pure scientist, even though the media is trying to make her out to be something else. I like to go straight to the source, and I've read Hillary's books, and I've read Obama's books, I've read Trump books. I read them all because I don't believe the talking heads. I don't believe them. Anyway, I've enjoyed reading the book, and she stumbled onto something that is of interest to my fly babies. Yeah, it's of interest to my fly babies. And she stumbled on it. She promised her grandfather that she would do research in prostate cancer. And she found a virus connection to prostate cancer. Wow. Yeah. And in this process, she also found that fibromyalgia had a virus connection. And my fly babies suffer from fibromyalgia. So I wanted to learn more about that. And then she stumbled on to autism. And 1 in 50 children are afflicted with some form of autism on the spectrum. And when she stumbled onto that, they just dismissed the women with fibromyalgia. Just dismissed them as being hysterical. But when she stumbled onto the autism link, that's when they started shutting her down. Yeah. The powers that be. It's kind of interesting, folks. You just never know who's after you and why. Yeah, Linda, it's awful. It is awful. So I'm reading this book for you. I'm reading it all for you, and I'm going to read her next book. When it gets in, if I put it on my Kindle, it might be able to read to me, but I can't put it on my headphones. But it's a good book. You kind of need to follow the money, and that's what Leanne and I always say. Judy Mitzkowitz, The Plague. and the Plague of Corruption is her new book. Now, it's got a lot of technical stuff in it, and sometimes it's hard to follow, but if I miss something, I just go back 30 minutes and replay it. So I've been listening to it all week long, and I've really enjoyed it. Because I always, in third grade, we learned how to do experiments, to have a control group, and we learned how to do experiments. And this woman went to college in Virginia, and it's I think she grew up in Virginia, and she watched her grandfather die with prostate cancer. So, and my neighbor across the street died with prostate cancer. So it's never a dull moment. So I'm just gonna read her books and do some study on her and on the process. But I don't believe the talking heads out there. I don't believe the National Health Organization, the WHO. I don't believe any of them. No, don't believe any of them. And today I've washed all of my rags, my purple, silver, bronze rags, and pink rags. All of them have been washed and put away. I've cleaned out a drawer. I've just gotten some things done and just having fun doing it. Listening to a book, spending time with just me and myself and I, and a weed eater and a leaf blower, and my book. There's Leanne. One of the things that she found was that sometimes people who had to have booster vaccines, like to go to college, it set off. It's like a key that that opened a lock that set off something that opened the door to the viruses that would change things. And that's what I thought was quite interesting, because that sort of happened to my niece Jessica when she had to go off to college. She got sick her first semester in college, and it's been hard on her. So I'm liking the book. You can read it. I'm not going to tell you whether to like it or not. But my friend, Dr. Christiane Northrup, she's a doctor, and she's a gynecologist, OBGYN, and she supports this lady. She has pretty much been railroaded, and they've tried to ruin her life. They put her in jail. For 5 days. Robert said, if somebody put me in jail for 5 days, searched her house without a warrant. But Scott Adams got me prepared to read this book last spring. Well, it may have been last fall. It was last fall and spring, about a year ago. He did a deep dive into the scientific journals of climate change, and how people manipulate studies to say what they wanted to say. So I was prepared for some of the things that were going to come along in this book because of that. There is a big old buzz bomb bug. It's a bumblebee, I think. I'm not stating one way or another. I'm reading a book because I want to know more. And if you don't think I have the right to do that, then you're welcome to leave. Yep, you're welcome to leave. And I'm happy to see you go, because I get I get to read anything I want to read. I read history. I read all kinds of things. And I like to grow my brain power. I try to read at least one book a week. Sometimes I read two. I read audiobooks, but it still works for me. It's better than filling my head full of stuff that's on the TV. Sunbeam feels good, but I have on black, so it's really hot. So taking time to do the things that you want to do, that's what flying's all about. That's what flying's all about. Yep. The Roomba is still hollering, just still hollering. Oh, just sitting and rocking. One time my granny, she was wringing her hands and rocking in the rocking chair and worrying about something. And I just looked at Granny and I said, you know, Granny, worry is like sitting in a rocking chair trying to get to your grocery store. You're not getting very far. So don't be worrying. Don't worry. You know, many years ago, science told us that we should eat mostly carbs. Mostly carbs. They told us we should be eating sugar. I read the book, The Case Against Sugar. I think that was by Gary Taubes, Leanne? When you read these books and the corruption and the money that flows into lobbyists to persuade our politicians to vote certain ways, you realize there is no true science anymore. None. It's all manipulated. It's all manipulated so that they can get, and soon I hope there's a book by Michael Patrick, or Patrick Michael, I can't remember Michael's. I never can remember which way his name goes, but I can always find him. And he was a well-renowned climate scientist. But he didn't agree with some of the things that were happening. He got blackballed too. Imagine that. Imagine that. So it's all about the money. The people that fund research studies, most of it comes from the government or foundations that are governed by the government and by big pharma. Yeah. Or like with the Sugar Institute, it was the sugar lobby. So you just, as Leanne and I have always said, follow the money. Wasn't it Cuba Gooding Jr. that said that in a movie, Moneyball or something? I don't know what movie it was. There is a big blue butterfly. Uh-oh, it's coming toward me. Robert says he has put up all of our wood for the next winter already. Imagine that. It's the little ant that doesn't stop, just working away. He'll probably do more. Show me the money, that's right. I got the quote wrong, but you know the process. Follow the money. Yep. I mean, we were told many years ago that little pink package of artificial sweetener was good for us. Yep. It was supposed to be good for us. And it's not, because I read a book by Dr. Blaylock about the dangers of that stuff and the blue pack. And Dr. Blaylock's book was recommended to me by my neighbor, Dr. Kemp. They were colleagues at the College of Charleston, and he said, "You should read this book." And he gave it to me. I think it even has Dr. Blaylock's signature. He gave me his personal copy of the book. Anyway, I read lots of weird stuff, and I'm glad I do, because it fills my brain full of probably useless information. And the other day I had a cafe mocha that was supposed to have no carbs in it. Well, if it doesn't have carbs in it, guess what it's got in it? It's probably got some artificial sweetener. And Justin came over and he said, "You don't look right, Mom." And I said, "Well, I don't feel good." He said, "What have you eaten?" I said, "Well, I had a cafe mocha." And he said, "Yeah, I bet that had some weird stuff in it." So when you're clean of weird stuff in your body, when you put it in your body, you recognize it. Somebody's asking me a question and I can't see it. Marla, did you see the pic I sent in Messenger of what my hubby made for me? I did not see that. I did not see it, so I'll go look when this is over with. Yeah. Oh, something smells good. Oh, there's a monarch. It's monarch time, y'all. I like cafe mochas. I've tried to figure out a way to make them without any sugar in them, and it just doesn't work. It just doesn't taste the same. So I'd rather do without than mess with it. But if I want a sort of a, I haven't tried it with just plain cocoa yet. Haven't tried that. So here's to staying hydrated. It's not my wise women's tea, but it really is good. And just enjoying a butterfly just flew past me. If it lands on me, y'all, that'll be weird. That'll be really weird. But my mustard greens are looking good. I found a rock in my garden, a big rock. And I'm just having fun today. Taking time for me and enjoying my afternoon and my morning. Oh, it's just pleasant. Just a little breeze blowing, a little sunshine, and a glass of tea. And it's got lemon in it. You can actually see what I'm looking at through my picture window. That's funny. My picture window is a mirror of my front yard. That's kind of cute. So this next week we're in our our master bedroom and our closet. There's a gnat. No. Leanne got eat up by gnats the other day. I got to get some citronella candles when she comes over so we can burn them. I've got some in the basement. Although I'm allergic to citronella, but I think it'll do well enough to help her. Yeah, you just got to rock and sit in a sunbeam and drink some tea. That's what Saturday afternoons are for. Y'all, you can't private message me here because I can't see it, and then they all go away and I never see them again. How is the rock fence coming along? Well, I don't think it's a rock fence. I think it's just a little rock wall. Sneeze. Hugs from Brazil. God bless the USA. Yep. Oh, this is warm. Life is good. So we're going to clean out our closet next week. Oh, you've missed our Wise Women's Tea. Leanne and I developed a tea for afternoon tea time. We did it because we saw a TED Talk by Dr. William Lee, which said when you combine different teas, the medicinal value of the tea gets multiplied. Now, we don't know if it is or not, but we like to think so. So I started having tea time because I knew I wouldn't drink tea by myself. So if I had tea in the afternoon with y'all, I would drink my tea. And it really does make me feel good. So here's to your, recharging your batteries. I have a funny story to tell you. I was using the little weed eater and the little leaf blower, and they're real lightweight. And I ordered a cultivator. Oh my goodness, y'all. There's a big old salamander. Let me see if I can. He's on that rock. Do you see him on that rock? He's orange. Do you see him on the rock? See him moving? See him moving? It's a huge salamander. He must have come out of my creek, out of my pond. Do you see him? See him wiggling? He's trying to find some shade because I cut down all his leaves. Yep, I messed up his habitat. It's gone into the shade. There's my pond. Been cutting things. I blew all the leaves out. The crows are coming. That's my driveway. That's the woods, going down through the woods. Y'all did see him. And my peonies down there are blooming. They're so pretty. Let's see if I can flip this around. Put it back in its holder. Uh-oh, that's not working. Are we still on? Lost my teeth. I don't know what I broke then. Anyway. We got to see a salamander. Big orange one too. I'll have to go look him up and see what he is. Yeah, this is our front yard. And this is my front porch. I've got a rail on it now because insurance said I had to have it. But I didn't want one. I really didn't want a rail. I hate it. But Robert did a good job building it. But he put some slats in it, and it's okay. But I like to sit on my porch. And I don't like my view blocked. But insurance said we had to have it, or they weren't going to let us insure our house. So I hate Big Pharma and insurance. Anyway, It's never a dull moment around here. If you get quiet, you can see things. Just look around, see what's happening. I got gargoyles too. Guarding my house. Yep. Just pleasant. Pleasant as it can be. That was a salamander. That wasn't a lizard. It was a salamander, which comes from the pond. I should have picked him up and put him back in the pond. But I was talking to you, so he'll find his way to the pond. Because we got water right there. Did you say gargoyle? Yes, I have one by the pond, and I have one sitting right here at my feet. Yep, he was supposed to spit water into the pond, but that never happened. Yeah, today's a good pruning day, y'all. Today is a good pruning day. Well, these are concrete. I bought them. They're concrete. So the critters are flying. We're on a monarch butterfly flight path. Like ducks have flight paths, monarch butterflies do too. And they come right through here in the spring, heading north, and in the fall, heading south. Let's see, 20. Let's see, I have few little statues. I have an elephant that's a planter, and I have a Lucy dog, which is a blue tick hound dog that is made out of implements, farm implements. Looks like a dog. I have a turtle. It's sitting on the edge of the pond in some ferns. Well, that's a nice breeze. Thanks for the stars, everybody. That's sweet. So we're just sitting here. If I had a swing, we could be swinging, but I had no place to hang a swing. So we don't have a swing. We gave the swing that was Robert's. Robert's dad made it. We gave that to Ben so he could swing on his front porch. He has a big front porch, and he likes it. And they planted some tomatoes upside down in some orange buckets. Good for them, you know. They just having fun, working on cars and doing things. So I've cleaned out my garden, and my mustard greens are growing like crazy. And in a few days, I'll cultivate this little garden. Dig up stuff. I might get me some dirt, bags of dirt, and put out. Ben's doing good. He had a rough week, first part of the week. He called me about 9 o'clock on Wednesday night, and he said this chemo this week is really kicking my butt, eh, Marla? Yeah, it's rough. But he says, I think it's working, he said, because I got a six-pack. And I said, what do you mean you got a six-pack? He said, I don't have a fat tummy anymore. And I said, really? He said, my stomach is just as flat as it can be. So I know the cancer isn't putting off any fluids, because his stomach would get big, like he was 9 months pregnant. And he didn't like that. But he says, it's not growing. So it's kind of, it's doing what it's supposed to do. And Dr. Lee is his doctor. He's an epidemiologist. So when all this virus stuff started, I got to talk to him about it. And he said China did things that the United States wouldn't do. China pulled people out of homes and put them into isolation hospitals. And He said the U.S. won't do that. But we are flattening the curve now, and the deaths are going down. And, we're like at 80-something thousand right now, total deaths. But they're not counting flu deaths anymore. And then we find out that flu deaths aren't really a thing. That they just estimate it. Who'd have thought? So, I don't trust any of them anymore. All I do is try to stay safe, try to keep y'all safe, and when the Surgeon General and other people were trying to tell us that masks didn't work, I'm thinking, well then why are they wearing them in the hospital? Common sense says masks do work. We may not like to wear them, but if you're going to go out in public, I promise you, I'll wear a mask to protect you if you'll wear a mask to protect me. It's that simple. And we protect each other. So, a mask, think of a mask this way. It's like wearing your handkerchief on your face. So if you sneeze like I just sneezed, it's going to contain all the droplets. Yep. So I hear people talking. So I'm just going to take care of you and you take care of me. And let's do what our grannies told us to do. Let's do what our kindergarten teachers told us to do. Keep our hands washed, keep our hands to ourselves. That was a big one in school. Keep your hands to yourself. And go wash your hands. And drink your water. And we're going to take our vitamin D. Have you checked out our new Wise Women supplements? Do that. flylady.net. Well, go to our shop and it's Wise Women. If you click on the categories, you'll see Wise Women. And we got supplements. And it's the core 4 supplements. It's the ones Leanne and I swear by that have changed our lives. I mean, really. Vitamin D, CalMag, calcium, magnesium, because when you're taking vitamin D, you need the balance there. And then CoQ10 and B complex. There's a lot of B's, everybody. There's a lot of B's. I'll check it out. Don't pick your nose. Keeping your house humidified is good too. I mean, early on, I used my common sense to get everything I needed in my house. When I get sick, first thing I want to do is get warm, because if you've got fever, you're cold. And I like to do this. I don't care if you do it or not. And I'm not telling you to do it, but I like to spike a fever. So I'll get in a hot tub of water and then I'll wrap up in a blanket, and preferably electric blanket, and I will stay in there. And this is what our grandmothers and our great-grandmothers did. Yep. What our grandmothers and our great-grandmothers did, they piled the blankets on the bed, and chicken soup, clear liquids. So when Pastor Andrew's daughter got the coronavirus in China, she didn't have any food. And I said, this is a blessing. This is a blessing, because you can't eat things that cause more mucus in your body because you got enough going on. She went to the hospital and they sent her home to die. And I said, you got to bundle up and get warm. I told her to drink plenty of liquids and to drink broth and tea. Broth and tea and just fast. Don't eat food. Don't eat food. And just liquids, clear liquids, and boil some water so that you have humidity in the air. And she was in an apartment building, and Leanne and I believe that apartment buildings have a big problem because it's all shared air. Yeah. And in 5 days, her fever broke. And she was, in 2 weeks, she was able, with her dad's help, to get back to Tanzania. And she's had the virus. I said, your blood is going to be worth something, girl. Yeah, it is. Broth, tea, and lots of water. So she survived. Now, this whole mess over here, she's not going to be able. She had been cleared after 10 years of going through the proper channels. She was coming to live in the United States. Yeah. And in 5 years, she would be able to become a U.S. citizen. And that's all on hold right now. And she gets a little discouraged, but she's taking classes at Course, COURSE.org, I think. Coursera, COURSERA, Coursera.org or .com, but look up Coursera, and she's taking courses there to learn to build her talent stack. So I've been really proud of Esther. She's been doing good. The tea we have has caffeine in it, but we're pulling the trigger tomorrow to get some decaffeinated and some more caffeinated, because I like the caffeinated stuff. I hear Bubba in his truck. I don't know Bubba, but Bubba has a big truck. I'm gonna drink my whole glass of tea talking to you. Y'all see my St. Francis? That's Robert. Robert likes the animals. I do too, though. I like snakes too. Just drives Leanne nuts. Well, I've been talking for 40 minutes, folks. I'm sorry. I apologize. I didn't mean to do that. Y'all are just so much fun to talk to. I don't have any makeup on. Yeah, there it is. We're getting some decaf. Maybe they'll send us some, and they can. That's a process, though. So we may get our regular in before we get our decaf, but Leanne and Justin are taking care of all of that. Well, our tea has green tea in it, and our tea master, he did not want to do that. Said it would ruin our tea. It doesn't. It doesn't. We love our green tea and our tea mixture. It's Nun Day Sunday. No makeup for me. And I washed my hair this morning, so I haven't had a problem with gnats either, Leanne. So it must be a lotion you put on or something. I don't know. We're going to have to figure out why these gnats are eating you alive so you can sit out and have fun in the sun. I love you all. I will see you later. Have a good rest of Sunday. Talk to you after a while.